Hey everybody, how's it going? I am back here for one more edition of No DQ&A video before WrestleMania 31, which is this Sunday, WrestleMania 31, Santa Clara, California. Currently scheduled to be 82 degrees on WrestleMania Sunday. Boy, oh boy, but I am very much looking forward to WrestleMania weekend. It should be memorable, and I look forward to meeting up with a lot of old friends and possibly meeting some new people as well from NoDQ.com and various other places. It's going to be a great weekend, I think, regardless of the quality of WrestleMania. I got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Riff. Figured I would get in some more questions before I head up the Interstate 5 to Santa Clara and San Jose. Real quick before I get started here, I also want to mention ProWrestlingTees.com. 2 new t-shirt designs have been added to the NoDQ store. So if you want to support NoDQ.com or if you want to support NoDQ&A video, go to ProWrestlingTees.com, search for NoDQ, or check out the link in the description box and grab a t-shirt. With that being said, let's get down to your questions here. First one comes from What Today? Hey Aaron, with WrestleMania 32 being in Dallas next year, is there a possibility of Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestling one match? Well, I figured I would get this question again at some point. I've gotten it maybe 3 or 4 times over the past year. With WrestleMania 32, there's all this talk. I've actually gotten quite a few questions here regarding WrestleMania 32 because there's speculation right now that WWE is going to try and get as many legends as possible to participate at WrestleMania 32. When it comes to Steve Austin, though, I think if Steve Austin was to even consider coming back for one more match, he would want to be the main event. He would want to be the featured attraction. He would want to have WrestleMania built around him. Now, there's all this talk about Undertaker possibly having his farewell match at next year's WrestleMania. There's also talk about The Rock coming back to face Brock Lesnar. If either one of those things happened, I think that Steve Austin would pass on WrestleMania. I think that the odds of him coming back and doing one more match and being part of an ensemble of characters, I think the odds are very much against it. I don't think he'll want to do it unless he really feels that the timing is right in terms of the money and in terms of being able to come back and make the absolute biggest impact possible. So as much as I would like to see Steve Austin come back for one more match, and I think a lot of people would, I think it's very much a long shot at this point. All right, this one comes from Worthless Nut. First time asker. Hope I'm doing this right. Thoughts on Roman Reigns winning after a hard-fought battle, Seth Rollins attempts to cash in, and then Ambrose keeps his promise he made months ago about letting Rollins cash in. It would set up the triple threat. What do you think? Well, I wonder if WWE writers even remember that Ambrose said that several months ago, and the fact that WWE doesn't expect fans to remember what happened 2 months ago, let alone 4 or 5 months ago, I would be surprised if WWE actually did that storyline and mentioned the fact that Ambrose had said that at one point. But with that being said, I really would like to see a Shield triple threat match. I think doing it right away at the next pay-per-view is pushing it. I think that if you're going to do that match, WWE should slowly build up to it. Maybe have Rollins cash in or attempt to cash in this coming Monday on Raw, or maybe even the next pay-per-view or the next 2 pay-per-views and set something up for SummerSlam. I think that that would be better to do that rather than have too much happening at one time where you have Rollins cashing in at WrestleMania and then Ambrose coming out. I think it would just be too much, and I think it's best to give it some time and just slowly build up to that match. First thing they're going to do, if Roman Reigns is going to win and become the top babyface and be the champion, then I think you should start off with Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns one-on-one, and then at some point you can add Ambrose to the mix. But I certainly would not rule out Ambrose costing Rollins the Money in the Bank, and that could somehow set up a triple threat. All right, this one comes from Cocox20. Hey Aaron, with Brock Lesnar signing a multi-year deal, do you see his title reign, pardon the pun, going past WrestleMania? I would not rule it out, but as I mentioned during the WrestleMania predictions video, if Brock Lesnar retained the title, who would be the guy to beat him? I mean, it wouldn't be John Cena, would it? It could be Daniel Bryan, but that would be counterproductive. After all this, for Bryan to be the guy to defeat Brock Lesnar, to me that would be a bit ridiculous now. And there's not really anybody else that I can think of that would be a suitable choice to end Brock Lesnar's reign. I think it needs to be Roman Reigns. I mean, he's the guy they've been building up, and I think they need to go with it. But there's always the chance that Brock Lesnar will retain. And if anything, I've been asked about how Lesnar signing a new deal will change the dynamic of the match. If anything, I think the crowd will be a lot hotter for this match. Now that they know Brock Lesnar's staying, I think they will definitely be more behind him. And also, I think WWE will try to protect him a little bit more and keep him strong because he is a special attraction. And if he does lose, I expect him to look as strong as possible. And we might even get that double turn, which I would like to see. That's what I would do at least. But regardless, I expect Brock to remain strong. And there's always the possibility he could retain the title. But to me, if he retains, who's the guy that beats him? I mean, that is something that I don't know what direction WWE could possibly go in and who would be ready to take on Brock Lesnar. Is Brock going to be part-time champion for another 6 months? They could do that considering the fact that John Cena is probably almost certainly going to be the U.S. champion and Daniel Bryan wins the IC title. They could very well do that. Definitely not ruling it out. All right, this one comes from M. Trek Man. Hey Aaron, do you think that the main reason the Battle Royal at WrestleMania did not elevate Cesaro was because, other than the trophy, there wasn't a reward for winning, like a title match of their choosing? Or was it just bad booking of Cesaro by WWE after WrestleMania 30? Well, to me, it was nothing more than bad booking. The crowd absolutely went crazy for Cesaro winning, and, it felt like a big moment because Hulk Hogan came out. He hyped it up. He was the one that announced the Battle Royal. He worked with Andre. It felt like something special the first time. But the fact that Cesaro went nowhere after that, the trophy really means nothing at this point. So it's WWE's fault. They could put a title shot on the line and the winner could still end up losing and it doesn't end up meaning anything. Fans need to be educated. They need to know that if somebody wins the Battle Royal, it's going to lead to bigger and better things. I mean, WWE's done very good with Money in the Bank because fans have been conditioned to know that the Money in the Bank winner usually goes on to bigger things and becomes a major superstar. The one big exception, of course, was Damian Sandow and also Mr. Anderson, but that was his injuries and not WWE's doing. But for the most part, the Money in the Bank winner is always booked strongly and ends up winning the title and ends up becoming a major star like Edge, Seth Rollins, and the list goes on. All right, this one comes from Dashin Grizzly. Hey Aaron, first time asker. Since WWE is trying to play off Sting's most popular gimmick, do you see Sting no-selling moves like he did in 97, 98 in WCW? Can you see Triple H putting him over like he did against Warrior at WrestleMania 12? Well, the Warrior match was only, 2 minutes? That's not going to happen here, and I think a lot of fans will be pissed off at a 2-minute match. It's not going to be a quick match. I would be very surprised if it was that quick. And it's not going to be a situation where Sting is no-selling and is completely dominant against Triple H. I mean, look at Goldberg. Goldberg wasn't like that when he faced Triple H. WWE had to try and mold Goldberg into a WWE superstar, a guy who can work 15, 20-minute matches with people. So with Sting and Triple H, I'm fully expecting it to be very much back and forth, to be your usual 20, 25-minute WWE pay-per-view match with both of them kicking out at finishers and all that stuff. So, yeah, I do not see that happening, and I really don't think it should happen. I mean, it depends on what kind of condition Sting is in, but if he can go 20 minutes, let him go 20 minutes. Let them have a back-and-forth match. I think fans would feel ripped off if it was like 2 minutes and Sting just beat him right away. With the Warrior, back in the day, Triple H wasn't that big of a star, and the fans just wanted to see the entrance, basically. I mean, nobody wants to see a 15-minute Ultimate Warrior match anyways. All right, this one comes from Raw is War 98. Hey Aaron, seeing how Macho Man is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, do you think it would have been a good idea if Miss Elizabeth was inducted with him because she played a big part of the character? I would have liked to have seen it, but it's the situation where WWE doesn't want to induct too many people that have died into the Hall of Fame in 1 year. That's the typical pattern. They don't want to do it. On paper would have been a great idea, but I can totally understand them not wanting to do that. Will she go in down the line? I could definitely see that happening, and I think it would be cool for her to go into the Hall of Fame because she was a big part of 1980s WWE, and then going on into the 90s with WCW and the NWO. I mean, she had a pretty lengthy career in the wrestling business, and she's part of the Mega Power storyline, one of the biggest storylines in WWE. I would definitely put her in. Would have been nice for her to go in this year, but can totally understand why they didn't do that. All right, this one comes from CPW 1978. On Raw, JBL joked that Ambrose and Harper look like they buy their shirts at the same store. Is it time Ambrose got new attire? Cole did retort how Dean's shirt didn't have a stain. So that's going in his favor, I guess. Well, when Dean Ambrose first broke off from the Shield, I mean, he had the white wife beater and the jeans. He looked like Jimmy Wang Yang, and I even pointed that out. And what did WWE do? They changed the color of his tank top to gray. It's really lazy. I don't know why somebody in WWE couldn't have come up with a better idea for Dean Ambrose's attire. To me, it lacks creativity. I don't know why they have him with the wife beater and jeans. I mean, it's just so generic. So many guys have that look and the taped fist. I mean, it's just, it's not original. It's not unique. I really would like to see something different with him and maybe give him a little bit of a revamped look. Maybe evolve it, change it up a little bit. I don't know. Changing the color of the tank top is not the answer. And, in general, I'm not a fan of wrestlers that have that come out with the t-shirt or tank top and jeans. Raven started that trend back in the 90s, and then every other wrestler had that similar look, that grunge look, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know. But to me, it's really old. I think it's very indie-ish, amateurish to have that kind of look. So hopefully they change it up with Ambrose. All right, got another question here. This will actually be the last one. This one comes from Dame666-14024. Hey Aaron, is Jerry Lawler finished now? I personally like Booker T, JBL, and Cole. Well, you said it, not me, regarding liking the announced team. Regarding Lawler, he's not finished yet. He's still on SmackDown, but the idea is similar to what WWE did with Jim Ross. They're slowly trying to phase out Jerry Lawler, and I really feel it's necessary. Unfortunately, Booker T as a replacement isn't all that better. Booker T, not one of my favorite announcers. I think the whole announce team needs an overhaul. You could keep Michael Cole, and Michael Cole, say what you will about him, but he has a very tough job, and he does it to the best of his ability. He has to take orders from Vince McMahon, and it's a tough job. And Cole does a solid job. I mean, he's no JR, but he does deserve credit for all the work he's done as an announcer over the years. But I could definitely go without Booker T and JBL and change it up, bring in some new people. With Jerry Lawler, I mean, it's time to slowly phase him out. At his age, with his health problems, I think it's just time. All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for WrestleMania coverage. I'll be covering the Hall of Fame, WrestleMania 31, and Raw. Stay tuned to NoDQ and the Twitter account, twitter.com/NoDQ_DOTCOM. Follow me there. And if you're going to be in Santa Clara, we're having a post-Hall of Fame meetup. Check it out on Facebook, facebook.com/Aaron Rift. You can contact me there for more info. And I will see you guys next week. There probably will not be a No DQ&A video until Wednesday, just because I'm going to be out of town. I'll still be doing videos and recaps, but I'll be back with the Q&A most likely on Wednesday. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time.